TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Who do you consider your closest friends in the business?
Well, obviously, when I grew up with Balls, I don't know if he's a guy. If I met today, I might be scared to be his best friend. But
Right.
But and I don't know if I would want them out of their body. But if somebody found out that Chris Candido needs a fucking kidney tomorrow, Sabu and Balls Mahoney would take a knife and tear theirs out and give it to you. You don't meet better people than that. You know.
What's your take on Sabu's current condition?
It's the saddest thing in the world, and that's a guy whose heart is so big. I mean, he would literally, give anything to anybody, and for something like that to happen to that guy, that's a guy that literally nothing bad should ever happen to. That's a person that he should walk outside when it's raining and start getting hit in the head with fucking gold bricks. I mean, he deserves, to have nothing bad ever happen to him. And it sucks that, that's what happens when good things, bad things happen to good people, and it's just unfortunate. I mean, when we had the show for him up here in Jersey the day after Christmas, the girls went out from the lecture, and her girls went out and did the Polaroids and stuff.
Right.
They came back and gave me the money. He was trying to give me the money. I said, dude, I'm here because it's your show. We're working for you. He's like, yeah, but you're not getting paid, right? I said, you don't know. It's a benefit show for my friend. I'm not supposed to get paid. He's like, well, take it. Well, I had to take the money, put it back in his bag. Next day, he missed his flight, so I went to the airport to hang out with him. I get out of he gets out of the car, I fucking help him carry his bag, give him a hug, he walks in. And one of the few guys, like, you say I love you to another guy, and you still love him. I mean, he's that good of a guy. I get in the car, and there's this thank you card that says, with the Sabu on it, thank you, and there's fucking $150. It's stuck in my glove compartment. The guy just did, he's... And I was talking to my brother, I'm like, what do? I mail it back to him? He's like, then you'll get it fucking mailed back. And the postman will just end up stealing it.
Right.
He's like, when you get your first TNA check, send that to him or something, And then Sabu did 2 barbed wire matches there. And apparently he had no blades left, so they took the free shaving razor from the hotel and broke that up and was using that. And apparently he thought he was worried it was not going to cut him well enough. So he's killing his poor self. That's where those main big disgusting scars are all from that one match, from that one incident. And he comes back from the barbed wire match, and we had to do a run-in and clip the wires down and wrap Onita in the wire. And then his music hits out of the blue, and he comes and starts bumping us. So he bumps Horace Boulder, bumps Titan, bumps Billy Anderson. And I'm like, well, this guy is just charging us with barbed wire on him. I'm not getting paid awfully well. And he starts chasing me to crush me with barbed wire. I said, screw that. And in Kawasaki, the door just opens, and you're right on the floor. So I just ran around the heel locker room and closed the door. And he was beating on it to run into a barbed wire. I was like, you're not doing that for what he was. Because I knew I wasn't coming back already because he needed American heels that were great big guys, which I obviously was not. But then Sabu came back, and he thought it wasn't cutting him, but it was cutting him so deep that it was like white styrofoam stuff hanging out of his body. And he's like, oh my god! And he was like, get your camera. I'm like, ready, 1, 2. Oh my god! And our rooms are always right next to each other, so the showers in those cheap hotels, it's like, your sink is connected to it, and showers would butt up against each other. I'd hear him screaming, taking the tape off. When he was done, I'd have to go in his room, and he would hold his stomach shut, stuff the styrofoam, whatever it was, back in. I would just wrap him back up in tape all night, and then for dinner we'd put hot water in the sink and put Dinty Moore beef stew with bound to move around in the hot water, and then that's what we'd eat.
Right.
I think you wrestled Sabu one time in New Orleans. Is that real hot building? Didn't you injure your ear or something?
No, the ear was in Boston. Sabu had his spike in his boot. He was spiking me on the floor, wanted to put it into his boot, and it kind of came out, his tongue, his laces. And him and Rob wanted to do the Rolling Thunder on us. Sabu came over the top, and instead of doing the Arabian leg drop, he did the Arabian Soma. My toe got caught and fall. As it fell on me, he came out with his boot, hit me in the ear, and the spike was sticking out. And it cut my ear. It was hanging by my earlobe. Ooh. And I knew something bad had happened because it hurt, but I didn't know it was that bad. So I just started trying to do my Terry Funk flop around like a fucking fish. And I looked over and I saw Tammy on top of the wall, the Revere dog track. Yeah. Everybody's peeking out. I saw her eyes I grabbed my ear. I'm like, oh, I feel blood squirting out. Rob and Sabu put me and Lance on a table, head to head like this. And I'm holding my ear going, oh, shit. Lance just looks over very calmly with his tremendous personality. He goes, what's wrong? I said, I think my ear is off my head. He goes, well, get off the table, dude. So I just got up and walked into the back, and then I fell down. Then I was scared. Right. At first I was like, oh, it hurt, but no big deal. Well, then when I know something's wrong, then I'm a big pussy. I'm like, oh my God, my ear left my head. So, we had the fake EMTs that were always done in ECW. Well, Balls comes running thinking it's the fake ones that are on me, but they're really MTs were there. I don't know, I guess a dog got hurt on the racetrack or something. So they come on, they're looking at my ear. Balls comes over, his match has been over for 2 hours. He's still fucking juice pouring out of his head. 400 pounds sits on my chest. Get away from my friend! And his nail and the fucking real EMT's throwing him off me as he's crushing me and bleeding his Balls Mahoney disgusting blood into my wide open ear. That's my buddy who's helping me out.
You mentioned Sabu was down there, right? Was that the first time you met Sabu?
Yeah, that's the first time we met. I remember he was there. I was there 2 weeks, and when he came in and we got back from Dallas, we showed up on TV, and there was this new guy. He was really skinny at the time. I mean, we all were. I mean, we were awfully young. Plus, as the longer we stayed there, the skinnier we got. And he's putting on a pair of Zubaz, and he's like, first puts them on. He wraps duct tape around his leg because he wrestled with no shoes to kind of make it that genie pant look.
Right.
And him and Judge Dredd had a tag match, and Judge kind of screwed up a couple things, and Sabu came back and was just like yelling. I'm like, who was this little dude screaming at this big, gigantic monster? And then all of a sudden, Judge Dredd opens his mouth and goes, "I'm sorry, Sabu." His little voice, it was the strangest thing. And then we ended up riding together to Louisville the following night. And he was like, when's payday? So it's usually on Wednesday. He goes, well, how was it? And I think I had only gotten paid so far for my first week because they hold the week back. I said, well, I got $99. And apparently he thought I meant per night. That was for the entire week. So he got his first, in Evansville, he went ahead and got his envelope and opened it up, and he was like, "No, this can't be." He went and talked to Eric Embry. He's like, I can't do this. I got to go. Eric went, "All right, be careful driving home."
Huh.
And then he called Cheek, and Cheek told him, "No, that's the way stuff is, and just go ahead and stay." But we became really tight down there. We just had a really good time. He had this really, really big yellow Cadillac that had like funny horn, like that. What the heck do you call it? The Dukes of Hazzard horn. When he would make that sound and stuff. And his last night, I have a tape of it. We were in Tell City, Indiana, against Robert Fuller and Bill Dundee. And Bill would make him do the crisscross spot and then stop. And he'd point up, and Sabu would look, and Bill would step on his foot. He had to sell his bare foot and step on his other foot. And his hair in his face. He would do it and come back. He just walked back all mad. He's like, "Now's your fucking turn." You just stand there all angry because he wanted to be. I mean, he wanted to be the Sheik still. He didn't enjoy doing any comedic stuff. But I mean, it was there that we became friends. And then when I came home, it was like a month later. We talked to each other like every day just because we're both trying to get booked. So we were in the same boat to sit there and talk and gripe about there's no work and bitch about this and that. But then he called me and said Kevin Sullivan had canceled an FMW tour, and so Sheik said, bring your little blonde buddy. So he kind of got me over there, and then we hung out there every day too.
Before, as far as like Balls, was he a wrestling fan, or did you get him into like the business as far as like watching it?
He was kind of a wrestling fan. We went to different grammar schools. We lived on opposite sides of the town. And so I just moved to this town, and my mom's like, "Oh, you got to meet friends, so be on the baseball team." I didn't know how to play baseball. I didn't like baseball. I had no idea. I was a little short, fat kid. They didn't have a uniform that fit me, so I had a Roddy Piper t-shirt on, and they put me like in far, far right field where nothing's ever going to come anywhere near me. So I'm standing out there, and there comes this big behemoth, just, great big beard, gigantic 300-pound man. It was Balls in fourth grade. Riding up on his bicycle. And he starts talking to me, and he's like, "Oh, you like wrestling?" I'm like, "Yeah." And starts saying, he watches the show, but he wasn't as insane as we later became.
Right.
And a ball comes flying. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm playing on a team." He's like, "There's a ball coming." I remember just didn't miss a beat of the conversation. It was like, "Yeah, remember last week when Roddy Piper took my mitt off, he just threw it in the air, hoping somehow magically that the ball would go into the net." And that was when myself and Balls Mahoney's friendship began.
That's awesome.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.